And we are following a developing story right now. New insight into phone calls between President Donald Trump and the President of Mexico and Australia's Prime Minister. Those calls were made on January 27th and 28th, and they were obtained by the Washington Post.
In the call to the Mexican president, Enrique Peña Nieto, Trump tells him, quote, "The fact is we are both in a little bit of a political bind because I have to have Mexico pay for the wall. I have to. I have been talking about it for a 2-year period." When Peña Nieto insists Mexico won't foot the bill for the wall, Trump responds, quote, "But you cannot say that to the press. The press is going to go with that, and I cannot live with that." Trump goes on to say, from an economic issue, it is the least important thing we're talking about, but psychologically it means something. So let us just say we will work it out. In his call with the Australian Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, the call became a little tense while the two argued about an agreement on refugees. Trump said, quote, "I have had it. I've been making these calls all day, and this is the most unpleasant call all day. Putin was a pleasant call. This is ridiculous."
And we now have a chance to talk to Washington Post reporter Amber Phillips, who wrote this story, hoping to get more insight here into the transcript of those phone calls.
Yeah, Amber joins us live now from Washington. And Amber, can you tell us what appears to be the most important thing to the president during these calls?
Yeah, I think a couple things struck out to me immediately. One is the president seems singularly focused on frankly, what he said in his first day in announcing his presidency, that he was not going to allow bad people to come into the country. He spends almost the entire phone conversation with the Australian Prime Minister really frustrated and upset that an Obama administration deal to allow about 1,000 refugees from Australia who are vetted by the U.S. could come in and make him look like a bad president. That one of them, the president says, might be the next Boston bomb or the next San Bernardino or the next World Trade Center. We can't have that going. And closely linked to that, it is a sense of a president singularly focused on his reputation, even when he's behind closed doors, cameras off, talking diplomacy with other world leaders. You know, he tells the Australian Prime Minister, "This is going to kill me." And of course, he tells Peña Nieto, you know, if we have to talk publicly about this wall, please say you're going to pay for it, or else just don't talk about it at all, because that too is just going to blow up in the press.
Sounds, Amber, like the president's asking the president of Mexico to lie to the press or to keep information from the press. What does that tell you about the Trump administration?
Yeah, well, what I read that conversation is Trump folding pretty quickly in his conversations with the president. You know, Trump tries him out, says, "Hey, you're going to pay for this wall, right? That'd be really great. I campaigned on it." The Mexican president says, "No." And Trump says, "All right, well, fine, just don't talk about it publicly then. Like, please just don't mention that you're not going to pay for this wall." He doesn't try to negotiate. His conversation with the Australian Prime Minister is a little more back and forth, but the president doesn't seem to grasp any of the policy that the Australian Prime Minister is trying to depart to the president. If you read the whole transcript, it's Trump asking, "Well, why can't you keep these guys? Why can't you keep these guys? Why can't you keep these guys?" Kind of over and over and over again. And it ends up being almost like a classroom lesson on Australian diplomacy and their internal immigration politics.
Yeah, I'm sure the Prime Minister of Australia and the President of Mexico didn't appreciate how those conversations went, but we'll see now what the White House has to say about this. Maybe we'll keep an eye on Twitter and see if the President himself puts out a statement on this. Amber Phillips, thanks so much for breaking it down for us.
Insightful transcripts indeed.
Thank you.